My observations of Panama so far. So I rented a car. That means that I've been driving around. I've driven from Weston Playa Bonita Village to Veracruz to the Albrook Mall and into that's in Panama City, Panama. And then I also drove to Puente Chamay, which is on the end of a peninsula here, which I took a video about a few videos back. So if you wanted to check it out, you certainly could. But some of the general impressions that I have: first, you should know Spanish if you can. So I am still learning Spanish. I'm using Babbel, and I'm also looking at Spanish websites and then kind of copying and pasting the text in the Spanish websites into Google Translate, and then looking again at the words to kind of interpret the Spanish into the English. And that's helping me learn some of the words. So I would say the most important words that I've learned so far: donde es el baño, which is where is the bathroom, café con leche y azúcar, which is coffee with cream and sugar. There's more words. Oh, ¿cómo está? Is, how are you? Which you would answer with muy bien. And there's some other phrases, but every day I'm picking up some phrases. I am purposely walking up to people that are working here at the hotel, or the Uber driver or taxi driver, and I'm asking them, how do you say this in Espanol? And if I don't know the words for it. So that's helping out a bit. It'll probably take me I'm going to guess it's going to take me about a year to get fluent. My other problem is that I took 3 years of French in high school. So every time it's like I'm automatically translating my English into French. And so I keep saying things like, somebody will say, ¿Cómo está? And I will say, très bien, which is, very well in French. Is similar, but it's French, not Spanish. So I have to kind of rewire my brain, I guess, to start thinking of the second language in Espanol instead of Inglés. So another observation: as you're driving around, especially driving, there's a lot of potholes here. So on the main highways like Highway 1, Highway 4, it's pretty smooth sailing as far as potholes go. You do have to keep an eye on the speed limit. So everything's in kilometers. So it depends on where you're at, but on some of the country roads, it's 40 kilometers an hour. On the main highways, it varies between 60, 70, and 100 kilometers per hour. So you have to keep an eye on that. The other thing is there's policei everywhere you go. So they have little shacks, or I guess sheds, just guard stations set up on the side of the road, where they can kind of randomly stop you and check for your driver's license and any other documentation they might be asking for. Also in the grocery stores, in the mall, pretty much everywhere you go, there is policei or security guards or something. So it makes me feel very safe walking around here, and just enjoying my time without having to worry as much as when I was in America. It seems like you can never find a police officer. Even when you call them, you might not, how fast are they going to respond to an emergency? It can vary depending upon, where you are and such. But here, you can find policei very easily. So that makes me feel very safe. Another thing I saw was a whole bunch of children walking home from school by themselves. So no adults present, just children walking home from school. And to me, that indicates that people aren't scared about letting their kids, walk from their school in their neighborhoods back to their houses after school. The Uber driver yesterday told me that this is the safest country in South America, and I would believe it. So Anyways, as far as safety goes, I would give this a 10 out of 10. Going back to driving, so stop signs are suggestions. Stop lights are more like stop signs in America. Yield, I don't know that anybody actually yields. Nobody uses blinkers. On a very rare occasion, you'll see somebody use blinkers, and that can be a little off-putting because if you are like right behind somebody in traffic, especially if they don't have any brake lights, you won't see a blinker or brake lights, and so if they start slowing down, you're going to have to assume that they're going to be turning. Also, people don't necessarily stop for all pedestrians, so I tried to stop for pedestrians before, but they just kind of wave me through, and they just kind of walk across the street waiting for a break in traffic. You also have to be careful that sometimes in the middle of the highway, like in between the lanes, there will be people selling things like chips and water and sometimes fruit and things like that. So you have to be careful that you don't accidentally like run somebody over. So just be careful of that as well. By far, the thing that has hit me the most about here is how friendly everybody is. So even though I don't know Espanol that well, as long as I'm making an effort, people will try to speak back to me. So if they have a little bit of English and I have a little bit of Spanish, then we can usually get our points across that, and we'll do a little kind of, unofficial sign language to get our points across. You can also use Google Translate, but it is considered rude to type something in Google Translate and then just show your phone to them. Like, I would never do that anyways, but it is considered rude. So what you should do is, if you're going to Google Translate something, Google Translate it and then try to speak it. Now, you might butcher the pronunciation, but it does show that you're trying, and people will be more responsive to trying to help you. So just keep that in mind as well. So I don't really want to hang out with a whole bunch of Americans all the time. I do want to make some expat friends. Of course, I'm sure I'll have some things in common. So like, I'm a veteran, Air Force, 13 years, and then I'm a cybersecurity person. So it would be kind of cool to meet some people with some common interests, maybe people that want to go out hiking and, going to the beach and doing things like that. And that's very common. There's a whole bunch of groups here that do that. This video is turning out to be quite a bit longer than I expected, so I think I'll stop it here. But if you have any questions or you think of anything that you want to know about, let me know and I'll make a video on that too. Buenos dias.